offers 24/7 protection when you bundle home, auto, and motorcycle. Learn more at Progressive.com. Congratulations to Seattle Seahawks winning Super Bowl 60 in dominant fashion, 29-13, destroying the New England Patriots.
Yeah, Bad Bunny ran for more yards than the Patriots did.
All right, that wasn't necessary. Joining us now, ESPN NFL analyst, former New England Patriot, Damien Woody. Damien, let's start with the positive. Even though you played for the Patriots, it is important to acknowledge how great Seattle was. You were most impressed by what specifically with Seattle last night?
Man, the way they dictated the terms, especially on defense. You know, that's the sign of any great defense. Sometimes on defense, you see them play, well, let's figure out what the offense is doing and then react off of that. No. Great defenses dictate the terms and say, you know what, we're gonna bring the hammer to the nail, and that's exactly what the Seattle Seahawks did to the New England Patriots on defense. They were the hammer, and the New England Patriots were the nail, and it was a thumping last night.
Well, Damien, it's never too early to look ahead. The Seattle Seahawks opened as Super Bowl 61 favorites. And I'm curious, based on what you saw last night, what you've seen from this team the entire year, how sustainable is this for Seattle?
It's very sustainable, CC, because their defense, they're going to play a brand of football, a style of football that you can take. I call it all weather. You can take it to a dome. You can take it outside. You can take it to the heat. You can take it to the cold. You can take it to a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. That style of football, that brand of football is sustainable. Obviously, there's a lot of variables that goes into these type of things. You know, you got to bring back some of your own guys. You got to bring in other pieces, draft. You got to have a little luck. You got to be healthy. But all things considered, that brand that Mike McDaniel has up in Seattle, it's going to be a problem for years to come.
Damien, in your opinion, what was the most surprising or disappointing thing you saw from New England last night?
They were just totally shook on the offense. It was like Seattle's playing at a different speed, and they just weren't. They never caught up to it. Drake May was just off kilter. I think the first half, the protection was awful. And I think it bled over into the second half as far as Drake May's confidence. He got going late in the game, but by that time it was too late. The game was already in hand. You just saw one team playing at a totally different speed, veracity than the other team in the Seattle Seahawks.
We're talking with two-time Super Bowl champion, both of the Patriots, Damien Woody, here on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance, ESPN NFL analyst. Damien, I've seen so many, as you played for, obviously, Josh McDaniels coach games where midway through the game, after the first quarter, they were doing A, and then all of a sudden they started to do B, and they completely changed everything. Why didn't they do that last night?
Yeah, I don't think it had much to do with scheme. I really don't. I think at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, at the end of the day, football is a very simple game. You got to block, you got to tackle, you got to hit, you got to catch. And when you can't do the basic fundamental things, when one team is doing it so much better than the others, it doesn't matter what play call it is. It doesn't matter the scheme. They're just better than you. And what we saw from Seattle wasn't overly complicated. Okay, they just brought a different energy, veracity to the game that the New England Patriots just couldn't match.
So, Damien, what can other teams learn from how Seattle built their football team?
Well, I mean, listen, I think you got to have some dogs. You got to have dogs up front. You know, the one thing about Seattle, their defense, they don't actually blitz a lot. You know, I know we saw Devin
blitzed last night.
They did last night, but I'm talking in their totality. In totality, over the course of the whole season, they were a team that blitzed a whole bunch, okay? But they got some dogs up front, and they got guys on the back end that can cover, like really can cover. And so I think that's going to be the move. You know, the unique thing about the Seattle defense is they don't. A lot of these teams, when the opposition runs the ball, they like to bring a safety down. They don't do that. They just said, we're going to stick with our two high safeties, and we're still going to shut you down, and we're going to be able to cover. How many teams can really do that in this league, CC? Not many. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if it tries to become a trend around the National Football League.
Damien, there were a lot of teams at home watching the game last night. Which one of them should have been the most upset that they didn't make it to the big game?
Wow. I would have really loved I would have really loved to see like a Jacksonville in that game, to be honest with you. Something like that. Buffalo, Jacksonville, I thought Jacksonville had a real opportunity this year with the way they played on both sides of the ball and how explosive Trevor Lawrence and that offense was in the second half of the season. But listen, to be honest with you, I don't know if any team in the AFC was ready for what Seattle was going to present to them. Seattle was just a different breed this year, especially defensively. So I tip my hat to the Seattle Seahawks, man. They were special. They were special all year long.
Damian, rookie left tackle for the New England Patriots, Will Campbell, allowed 14 pressures, the most in a single game all season by any player in the NFL. Post-game, he did not speak to the media. Which was worse, in-game or after the game?
Listen, man, I would probably say post game. And listen, I understand that the emotions after the game. You lost the Super Bowl. He probably understood that he didn't play well. But listen, I always say the media is part of your job description. That's in your contract. So, as much as some people try to try to come at the media, that's literally your obligation. So, hopefully, he's a rookie, he's a young guy. Hopefully, he learns from this. And moves forward accordingly.
Damian, what team should be most upset about missing an opportunity to compete for a championship this season?
I mean, Buffalo. To me, we said coming in, Buffalo has an opportunity. Obviously, they had the best. In my opinion, the best quarterback in the postseason on the AFC side, and they clearly had an opportunity that they wasted. And once these opportunities present itself, there's no guarantee that you're going to get back. Look at them now. Sean McDermott gone, new coach, new beginnings in Buffalo. So we'll see what happens moving forward with that organization.
Damian, what was your favorite non-football moment from last night? Whether it was a commercial, halftime show, national anthem. I know that you had something that you liked.
Yeah, there was a couple. I thought the national anthem was great. It was really good, to be honest with you, and I thoroughly enjoyed the halftime show. Listen, I don't understand Spanish, but I understand vibes. That's what I do understand.
That's right.
I understand vibes, man. So, the production was great. We had a great time in the Woody household. That's all I can say.
What a line. What a line. I don't understand Spanish, but I understand vibes. I do understand Spanish. I don't understand vibes, which is interesting. I actually am the opposite in this case. I'm such a loser. It's really Damian, I'm bummed. Let's just get personal here. I am bummed today. This stinks. This is miserable for me. I'm nervous about this. I'm nervous about, was this a one-off? I don't think it is. They were ahead of schedule as a Pats fan. Tell me how I should be feeling big picture about game one through yesterday and then moving forward.
And think about this. You went 4-13 2 consecutive seasons prior to this one, and you had a new coach with a young team that played a lot of rookies this year, a lot of snaps, and they made it to the Super Bowl. Was the outcome the way you wanted it? No. But this is only year one of Mike Vrabel. They're only going to get better. The quarterback was the second youngest quarterback to play the Super Bowl in NFL history, only behind Dan Marino. So, there's a lot of things to feel good about. If you're New England, does it feel good today? Absolutely not. But if you talk about the prospects of the Patriots organization moving forward, there's a lot of really good things to look forward to.
All right, I feel better. Thank you. You know what? I'm starting to understand vibes. I got a good vibe there from Damian Woody, ESPN NFL analyst. You'll see him on SportsCenter coming up. Thank you as always, Damian. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you guys.
Two-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots. What a line. I don't understand Spanish, but I understand vibes.
That was the beauty of Benito's performance yesterday. It was
well
great.
Done.
Great.
Well done.
All vibes.
All vibes.
Coming up, Super Bowl 61 is going to be the greatest Super Bowl ever. I'm telling you right now. I don't know who's in it, but could one of these two teams maybe make it there? We'll discuss next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.